I also need to mention Andy Rice, who was the founder of SID back in the late 1950s, who was a major force in the development community and who got the planning started for this Congress late last spring of last year. In many ways, after he passed away, Sid Washington has put on this Congress as a living memorial to Andy Rice. I also want to give you a sense of who is going to be in the room. We have 1,100 plus participants from over 23 countries. In the room, we have representatives from the private sector, philanthropy, the NGO sector, the bilateral sector, the multilateral sector, academia, the consulting community. It's a very interesting mix of people. We have a number of very high-level speakers we're very pleased with. We're very happy that Gail Smith is with us this morning and is going to be giving the opening address. We also have President Bob Zoellick from the World Bank, and we also have President Donald Kaberuka from the African Development Bank, and many other prominent plenary speakers. We have 6 breakout tracks, of which there are 3 breakouts in each one, so that adds up to 18 breakout panels. We have over 100 speakers. 40% of those speakers are from overseas, so I think for a Washington-based conference, this is highly unusual in the level of internationalness, if that's a word, of the participant speakers. We also have a lot of opportunity for networking and dialogue. There's a tabletop, a networking luncheon this afternoon. Please take advantage of that, and there's information about the table topics, and you'll get more detail a little bit later. I also want to thank all the people who've flown in from overseas. It's particularly challenging to get visas and pay for airplane tickets and make long-term plans to come to the Congress, so thank you very, very much. A couple of context-setting comments. The 2011 World Congress is an opportunity for the global development community to take stock at a time of what I would say is incredible global progress, taking the long view, taking the very long view, but also a moment of challenge looking forward over the medium term. I think in this new normal of international development that we're confronting, there's some hard truths that the development community needs to look at. I think one of them is that what I've called the 10-year bull market on official development assistance is over, and I think we're going to be looking at significant cuts, and I think there's I think globally, I think that if we're lucky, we'll be able to hold the line, but I don't think we're going to see massive increases in foreign assistance over the next several years globally. I think in the new normal as well, official development assistance will continue to be an important but smaller minority shareholder in the business of development. It's a critical component of the business of development, but it continues to be a minority, a ever-growing smaller size of the overall economic engagement in the world. And so remittances, private philanthropy, the corporate sector, foreign direct investment are all playing their roles. And so I think it's how we engage with all these different actors and the ever more complexity of what's called the aid architecture. It's only going to get larger and more complex. I don't think it's going to be getting smaller and simpler. Let's talk about, though, some of the opportunities. I think there's some big opportunities that we're going to cover as well in the Congress, among many other opportunities. The first is the importance of the private sector as the engine of growth and as a vehicle of social inclusion. I think one of the most important things that has happened in development in the last 10 years is the Doing Business initiative at the World Bank. This was an initiative that was supported by the United States government, both at USAID and at other U.S. government agencies. And I think it's been a real triumph in helping to help governments change their policies in a way that allow for private enterprise to happen and participate in the formal sector and pay taxes, and also provide benefits to employees, but also to support entrepreneurship and the growth of small, medium-sized enterprise. That's the first. The second is expanding human freedom. I don't think we've seen the full implications of the Arab Spring. I think that it does put a lie to that, put to rest that terrible lie about Arab exceptionalism, which is a great falsehood. And so I think that the Arab Spring has major implications for the future global freedom and prosperity. And the international community, the international development community, we need to support it and aggressively. And then finally, and we're going to be spending a lot of time on this, is many countries are following the paths of South Korea, Taiwan, and Chile, and leaving are not becoming so much recipients anymore and becoming donors. And so I think we're going to see a lot of at this Congress about South-South cooperation and the roles of middle-income countries. And I think this is very encouraging and is going to be an important part of the future of our shared freedom and global prosperity. And with that, I'll stop, and I'm going to turn the podium over to Dr. Jan Pronk, who is the president of the SID International Governing Council. Dr. Pronk.
Thank you, Dan. I'd like to join you in welcoming all of you, but now on behalf of SID International. As you know, the Society for International Development is an international network consisting of national chapters and an international group of people who, through or not through the national chapters, are communicating with each other. I'm very pleased that we have this conference here in Washington, because everybody knows that the Washington chapter is the strongest chapter in SID International. Our previous Congress was 4 years ago in The Hague. We need also to communicate with each other outside our national chapters. We do so in SID International through, for instance, our forum on the website, which has increased its quality during the last couple of years, and many people at the moment are communicating with each other, views, exchanges of information through our website. We do also through our journal, Development, which each quarter of the year really is bringing forward high-quality views on development to the subscribers. We also do so in a number of seminars which we are organizing, and the highlight, of course, is the conference. Since the previous conference 4 years ago in The Hague, the world has changed a lot. There is a change in the economic and political power situation in the world. Very positive is that, in particular, African, Latin American, and Asian countries are reaching unprecedentedly high rates of economic growth. We didn't think it would be possible somewhere during the 1970s and the 1980s, but they did it. At the same time, we see a major change also due to the fact that both this country, the US, and the European countries are in major economic problems. So there is a change in the economic and political power relations in the world. And we do not know exactly what the outcome will be for the world system as a whole. But again, the high economic growth rates in the countries which I mentioned, we also see stagnation. We see that, for instance, in East Africa at the moment, the food and nutrition situation is extremely bad. And the hunger will reach a level which is unprecedented also since the 1973-1974 famine in that region. We see that in many developing countries, there is civil strife, civil war, and violence. And we see also that climate change is reaching a situation which has major negative consequences for many people in developing countries belt somewhere around the equator. There is also a lot of uncertainty. We do not know to which extent, for instance, the present international economic and financial crisis, the debt crisis in the US and the debt crisis in Europe, is of greater proportions than the debt crisis of the African countries in the 90s and the Latin American countries in the 1980s, will at a certain moment also have an impact on the world trading system as a whole, and also on the economic growth potentialities of developing countries. We also do not know to which extent the Arab Spring, young people going for change, will really result in democracy and change, or will meet increased oppression of a sophisticated character. The outcome is uncertain. And the outcome of our major effort with regard to the Millennium Development Goals is also quite uncertain. So far, the results are mixed. These are the issues for discussion at this conference. Questions are important, and I mentioned the following. This uncertainty and these mixed results, are they the consequence of the fact that the development process is inherently always leading to a widening of the gap between those who do have the chance to participate and others who will stay behind? That's one option. Or is it due, second option, due policy mistakes which are being made in all individual different countries? Or, thirdly, do we need to review and reassess the concept of development itself? But it may also be, that's the fourth option, that the world system itself is in disarray. Or is it a combination of all these four options? These are questions for discussion for you at this conference. I'm looking forward to the questions as well as to the answers. Thank you very much.